We've got Jo Parker and we've got Perri. So Perri is the head coach of the ladies team, correct? Yep. And could you tell us a little bit about your role at the club?
Yes, so my role is I'm the director of rugby at Grassroots Rugby Club. So I started at Crowthorne as the Thorns ladies coach, and then last year was asked if I'd like to take on the role of director of rugby.
Brilliant. What's the difference in terms of the challenges there, going from a coach to director role?
Probably the biggest challenge is because I was so involved in the Thorns that the transition of removing myself from that kind of all in with the Thorns, removing myself and kind of transferring so that I was overseeing all aspects of the rugby. So the challenge to kind of oversee the pros as well wasn't one, because I've been doing that with the Thorns, but to kind of remove and set up the Thorns and then to have that overall view.
Okay.
A challenge.
And how's it been sort of stepping away and, handing the reins over to Perri?
Oh, really good. Like, Perri's an amazing
The
player.
team's in good hands.
She'd already shown signs of coaching. She'd taken on her award. She'd been coaching with the under 16.
Yeah, under 16 boxer.
Yep.
And so she was. There was no one else in the kind of field. She was perfect person to take over.
Excellent. How have you found it then? Sort of stepping up and coaching. Obviously, you mentioned you were coaching a younger age group. You're now obviously dealing with seniors. What's the difference there?
So for me, the difference has been, I guess it's a difference in attitude, if I'm completely honest with you, right? So the youngers have a different level of passion and wanting to learn.
Okay.
I guess with our rugby, we're there for fun, ultimately, right?
Yeah.
We want to play games, we want to win games, but it's more about the fun element. So it's balancing the, yes, we want to train hard, with the actually we also want to have fun and I guess have time to talk in training as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So are you predominantly coaching? Do you play as well? If you play a coach?
Good question. So the plan was to predominantly coach. However, I will be playing the odd game here and there.
Right.
That's the plan.
Brilliant. So what position do you play?
So number 8.
Number 8.
Yeah.
Excellent. Back rowers. Can't beat a back rower. I'm not biased in any way, shape or form. So what are your aspirations for the season then with Crowthorne ladies, all the Fawns, as I've learned your nickname is?
Yeah, Thorns. So last season was a struggle, so we dropped out of the league. So ultimately, this season it's about staying in the league, having the numbers, building. Recruitment is high on our list.
Yeah.
We'd like to have multiple people at training. So yeah, it's about just building as a cohesive team for the rest of the season and getting new team members down to the club.
Brilliant. So what are some of the challenges you've faced sort of in the last couple of seasons as director, in terms of, obviously I know you mentioned sometimes it's difficult to field a full team. You're kind of a growing rugby club, players are coming in, you're not quite where you'd like to be yet. What are some of the difficulties that you faced in the last couple of seasons regarding that?
As I took over as director of rugby, we entered into a really tough season. The guys were struggling with numbers, and so they ended up they removed themselves from the league. We then struggled because the Thorns had won the league previously, and so we were promoted, but unfortunately we had about 10 retirees and they were predominantly experienced players, so it was a real struggle for us last season as a club. To keep that kind of positivity going with the lack of games, etc., and all that comes with that. It's not just the lack of games; it's then morale goes down.
Yeah.
You're then starting to look at numbers dwindling at training. So we really approached last season with as much positivity as we could. But then just kind of, I'm very much, my glass is half full, not half empty. So let's use the season to kind of rebuild, look at what we need to put in place to sort of boost our foundations, so that once we were ready and starting to build again, we hoped that we would be back in the leagues this year, but we weren't sure about that, but we had to put those foundations in to build, and luckily it worked, and both teams are now back in the league. we're really excited. We do know that we've still got that work to do to keep it sustainable. But I think one of the other things was that because both teams went through it at the same time, it was actually quite supportive. You know, they became very supportive of one another and aware that both teams had to kind of boost each other to keep going. So we're only a small, community club. There's only one senior team for the men's and the ladies, but we're a really close family club, very volunteer based. Everyone has to chip in, and that helps too. The fact that you've got to sort of you're building the club for who you play for. It was a challenge, but I'll always look at what's the positive to take out of it, and hopefully that's the other thing we've started. It gave us a chance to look at starting a mini section.
Brilliant. That was going to be my next question, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Preempted that.
So tell us all about that.
Yeah. So that was something else we talked about, because if we didn't have seniors playing this season, what else could we do? So we started looking at minis. We've put a concept together. We started taster sessions before the summer holidays.
Brilliant.
They went really well.
Yep.
And so we started our first training session last week.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
So any parents who are in the sort of Crowthorne, Bracknell, Reading area, got children.
Sandhurst, Camberley.
Brilliant.
Really.
Your
nearby.
geography is going to be better than mine. Not a native, unfortunately. So anyone in the area with youngsters, keen to get them into a sport, have a bit of fun, come round, burn off a bit of energy. Crowthorne is a good place for them to come.
Yeah, we've started with under 8s.
Yep.
So under 8s, the under 8s, under 7s, under 6, they can train together. They can't play together. But whilst we build, we've put all the contingencies in that, once we've got a good number for each age group, they then split. But we had to just take that leap and go for it. But the feedback we've had from parents so far is, a lot of the parents walk to the club or cycle, so it's nice and close if they live in Crowthorne. Brilliant. The word is spreading around the schools really quickly. We had someone go in and do some sessions in the schools before the summer break, so it's
excellent.
Going good.
So on to the coming season. This one might be more for you, Perri. How do you think the pre-season went? Do you think the ladies are prepped and primed and ready to take it to all the other teams?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pre-season.
Silly question.
Yeah. Pre-season was good. We have struggled with numbers during pre-season because it's school holiday season. However, the last few weeks now, the kids are back at school. We've had numbers and had some really good sessions. So yeah, really excited about the upcoming season.
Brilliant. Now, it would be remiss of me sat here with two ladies involved in women's rugby as you are. We've got to mention the Women's Rugby World Cup.
Of course.
So, as I understand it, Jo, you're off to the game next week.
I am going to the
We're hoping
we're both going to the final.
We're both going, yeah.
Perri's going too. Obviously, we're hoping the Red Roses do the business later on and get through to the final.
Yeah.
Who's going to win it?
England. Absolutely.
England, yeah.
England.
I think it's going to. Sorry, have the microphone back. It's going to be probably a big test.
Yeah.
I think today France will come out. France always do, but England.
What is it kind of? Has there been much of a buzz around the game, and particularly the women's game with the World Cup? Obviously, we've got these players becoming more of a sort of let's not say household names yet, but we've got characters coming to the fore, haven't we?
Yeah, much more prevalent on social media, etc. Aren't they?
Yeah.
No, I think for me this is one of the first times that more people have approached me and said, "Oh, you play, or you're involved in rugby too, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, the women's." And people that I've not really expected are starting to watch. Yeah. My grandson is one that he's always been a bit interested in the late. He plays and he's really interested in the men's. But I think the World Cup has kind of stirred that extra bit of interest. And now he's like, "Are you watching the game? Where are you watching it? Can we watch it together?" It's that kind of just much more of an awareness. I think because it's one here, and two, it's much more sort of out there, and as you say, those characters are starting to become a little bit more, and not just the England players. I think all the countries are really doing a great job. Iona Matthews, Mayer, from other countries,
Yeah.
they're doing the same on social media and just spreading that word, I think.
It's been great to see, and I know obviously we've had some recent success in regards to the Lionesses with the football, back-to-back European champions. I read a few things that said the uptick in young girls getting involved in football after that. I can't remember the exact figures, but it was quite significant. Do you hope to see, or perhaps do you expect to see, if Red Roses go and do what we all hope they do you think there might be a bit of an uptick in young girls getting involved in the game?
You would hope so. I think there's a little bit of a difference with rugby. Would you agree there's like that? I think because there's that contact element, there's a little bit more of a... maybe the parents, if parents aren't rugby parents,
yeah.
I think they hold a little bit more of a concern. So I think a girl has got to be very passionate about it to kind of get involved. So I think what the rugby community and the R&D need to be really kind of pushing is that it's introduced in schools, etc. So they get that experience rather than going looking for that experience. I think they need that introduction to it first before they go look for it.
So what would you both, obviously you've both played, you're both involved in the game, something you're passionate about, what would you say to those parents? Maybe there's some parents watching this, maybe looking at getting their kids involved, their daughters, their sons, concerned about that contact, the physical element. What would you say to those parents?
I think that the confidence and the community that it gives an individual outweighs any of the physical contact worries, personally. When I first started, I was asked to play for a number of years, but again was fearful of the contact element, having known people that have been injured. Decided to take it on, and since I've played I've never looked back, and actually kick myself for not starting younger. So I think rugby has such a community that it's well worth bringing your girls along.
Brilliant. Perfect answer. Obviously I spoke to Kim. One of the things we'd love to do is to come down and cover one of your home games this season. So hopefully we can showcase all the good work you're doing down there at Crowthorne Ladies Rugby. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Go well for the start of the season and go on Red Roses.
Tomorrow. They play tomorrow.
Yeah.
First game tomorrow.
Brilliant. Yeah.